Hello everyone, welcome to the session. In one of the previous session, we have discussed about square roots of a complex number. So similarly, we shall generalize that. Now in this session, we shall discuss about nth roots of a complex number. So basically, square root of a complex number means what? So if there is some complex number A, square root of a complex number means it is a number whose square gives you the given number. So general definition. So it holds for real numbers also. So square root of 4 means what? So it is the number whose square is the given number. So 2 and minus 2 are square roots of 4 as their squares is 4. So nth root means it is the same. So for any given complex number, nth root of that number is, it is a number whose nth power is a. Square root means its square has to be the given number. So your nth root means, nth root of a complex number means it is a number, it is a complex number whose nth power is a. So now in this session we are going to find nth roots of a complex number, nth roots of a complex number, and hence finally taking a is equal to 1, we will get nth roots of unity, which is a very important result in mathematics. So nth roots of unity, right? So we shall start with a general complex number. Let A be any complex number. Now what we have to do, we have to find actually nth roots of a complex number. That means we wish to find complex numbers z such that z power n has to be equal to a. So now we are going to find numbers whose nth power is the given number. Now as a is any complex number, so there is a possibility that a could be equal to 0. Then so if a is equal to 0, so what are the values of z whose nth power is a? The only value 0. Then z is equal to 0 is the only nth root of a. So the default case is solved. So now assume a is non-zero. So a is some non-zero complex number. As a is non-zero, so its polar form exists. For all non-zero complex numbers, we can write its polar form. So say its polar form is r into cos phi plus I sin phi. So general polar form of a complex number will be of this form: r into cos phi plus I sin phi, where r is the modulus of a and phi is the argument of a. Here modulus of a is r and argument of a is phi. Argument of a is phi. Now we have, so using this equation, actually we need complex number z satisfying this equation, right? So we shall start with that equation. So we have z power n is equal to a. So two complex numbers are equal means their moduli will be equal. So modulus of z power n will be equal to modulus of a, and which is r. So that is, so z power n can be factorized as z into n times. So modulus of the product is product of the moduli. So modulus of z power n will be modulus of z whole power n, which will be R, which will be R, and as A is non-zero, modulus of A, R will be positive. R will be positive. Now recall a result of real analysis. If X is a positive real and N is any, and if N is any positive integer, then there exists a unique positive real, say Y, such that Y power N will be equal to X. So recall this result. So for any positive real and for any positive integer N, there will be a unique positive real number Y satisfying this equation. Y power N is equal to X. Now come to this equation. So what this equation says, actually R is some positive real and N is any positive integer. So we are finding nth roots, so N has to be positive integer. So for any positive real and for any positive integer N, so there has to be unique real number Y, unique positive real number Y, such that Y power N has to be equal to R. As R is positive and N is any positive integer, so there has to be a unique real number Y such that Y power N has to be equal to R. But so here this equation says that, so modulus of Z is that positive real number, because so A is non-zero and Z has to satisfy Z power N equals A. So Z has to be non-zero. Z cannot be equal to 0. If Z is equal to 0, 0 power N will be equal to 0, that is A will be equal to 0. It will be a contradiction. So by this equation, basically Z is non-zero. So modulus of Z will be positive. So what that means, modulus of Z is a positive real number whose nth power is R. And this result says that there could be only one such positive real number. There could be only one such positive real number satisfying that equation. And such a number is called, nth root of X. Nth root of X. So here R is a positive real and N is any positive integer. So modulus of Z whole power N equals R implies modulus of Z will be nth root of R. Nth root of R. So therefore, so as modulus of Z whole power N is R, modulus of Z will be nth root of R, and which is unique, which exists and unique by this result. So the complex numbers which we are finding now, so which we are going to find now, so whose modulus value we got their modulus value. So we got the modulus value, so just it remains to find their argument values. Hence we can express that in the polar form, right? So actually we have to find the complex number Z. So as their moduli is already existing, so we shall express those in the polar form itself. So to express those in the polar form, only it remains to find their argument value, right? So what shall we do is, we shall take Z in the form of polar form. So polar form means here I have to write their modulus value, and modulus value is nth root of R into cos their argument. I don't know the argument, so we shall take it as some psi plus I sin psi. Now just we have to find the value of psi. So to find the value of psi, once again we shall go with the same equation. So again what we have, Z power N is equal to A. So Z is, so Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is equal to 1 plus I sin psi. So Z power N is e nth root of r into cos psi plus I sin psi whole power n equals a, and we have taken a in the polar form, which is r into cos phi plus I sin phi. Now this implies, so split the nth power, so nth root of r whole power n will be just r, because nth root and nth power gets cancelled, into cos psi plus I sin psi whole power n. So just have splitted the nth power for these two terms. So this equals r into cos phi plus I sin phi. So this implies r into, so cos psi plus I sin psi whole power n. So using De Moivre's formula, it is cos n psi plus I sin n psi equals r into cos phi plus I sin phi. Now, as r is a positive number, so I can cancel it on both sides. So which implies cos n psi plus I sin n psi equals cos phi plus I sin phi. And using the equality of two complex numbers, so real part has to be equal to the real part, imaginary part has to be equal to the imaginary part. So cos n psi will be equal to cos phi, and sin n psi will be equal to sin phi. And what this will imply? So cos value for these two angles are equal means, so these two angles need not be equal, but so there is some relation, so that can be seen using the graph of cos. So the graph of cos is like this. So cos 0 is 1, so cos 0, so pi by 2 is 0, so it goes like this. The graph of cos will be like this. So cos 0 is 1, cos pi by 2 is 0, so cos pi is minus 1. Once again, cos 3 pi by 2 is 0, and cos 2 pi will be 1. So this is one cycle. Next, the same values repeat. So I can observe that. So this graph is symmetric to this. So cos values goes on repeating, so based on some cycles. So this is one cycle. So after one cycle, the same values repeat once again. You can observe, so cos 0 is 1, cos 2 pi is also 1. So this is 2 pi. So next will be pi by 2, 3 pi by 2. So this will be 5 pi by 2. So cos pi by 2 is 0. Cos 5 pi by 2 is also 0. It is also 0. And if I move on, so what will be this? So this is pi, 2 pi. This will be 3 pi. So cos pi is also minus 1. Cos 3 pi is also minus 1. So that means the values of cos repeats from cycle to cycle, right? So after one cycle, the same values repeat in the second cycle. So cos n psi is equal to cos phi means, so these two angles are symmetric. But they need not be equal. So how will be? So for that you can observe here. So just one example. So cos pi is equal to minus 1. cos 3 pi is also minus 1. Cos 3 pi is also minus 1. So that shows that, so these two cos values are equal. That will not imply that these two angles are equal. But there is some relation. So first of all, these two are symmetric. These two are symmetric. So if you consider these two cycles, so this point just lies on this point. So these two are symmetric points, and moreover, so pi plus 2 pi is 3 pi. So just by adding 2 pi, you will get the next symmetric point for whose cos value is the same. So similarly, you can argue for pi by 2 also. So cos pi by 2 is, it is 0. It is same for 5 pi by 2 also. Cos 5 pi by 2 is also 0. That shows that these two angles need not be same, provided these two values are same. But these two have some relation. First of all, these two are symmetric points, and moreover, by adding 2 pi, you will get 5 pi by 2. 5 pi by 2. So if you continue the cycle, this is the second cycle. In the third cycle also, you will get the same points, same values. So, and for those values, the same values. So theta will be got by adding 4 pi. So for the fourth cycle, you will get the same values by adding 6 pi for the same angles. So if two cos values are same, so that implies that one is equal to sum of the other plus some integral multiple of 2 pi. So here that multiple was 2 pi. So this was the end of second cycle. So if you continue the third cycle, so here this will be 4 pi. So if you continue third cycle, so the symmetric point for pi by 2 will be 9 pi by 2. So cos of 9 pi by 2 and cos of pi by 2 both are 0, but angles are symmetric points first of all, and you will get 9 pi by 2 by adding 4 pi to pi by 2. So two cos values are equal means angles will be symmetric points on the graph of cos, and moreover, so one is got by adding some integral multiple of 2 pi to the other. So the same idea I'll use here. So cos n psi equals cos pi implies that n psi will be pi plus 2k pi, where k is for some integer k. Now n psi equals 5 plus 2k pi implies psi will be pi by n plus 2k pi by n for some integer k. Now, so we got the psi value, that is argument value of z. So just substitute that. So therefore the complex numbers z, so which we were finding, so which we obtained was z equals, so nth root of r into cos of psi is 5 by n plus 2k pi by n plus I into sine of 5 by n plus 2k pi by n, where k is any integer, Okay. So we got the z values, where there is an arbitrary variable k, so which varies over the set of all integers. Now the question is, so as k varies over z, so will we get So does there exist distinct values for Z? So as K varies over Z, the question is, do we get distinct values for Z? So that we shall check here. So K varies over integers. So put K is equal to 0. So if I put K is equal to 0, Z will be nth root of R into cos phi by n plus I sin phi by n. So this is corresponding to the value K equal to 0. Then if I put K is equal to 1, so Z will be nth root of R into cos phi by n, cos phi by n. So if I put K is equal to 1, so it will be 2 pi by n. So cos phi by n plus 2 pi by n plus I into sin, same thing, phi by n plus 2 pi by n. So this is corresponding to K is equal to 1. So K is equal to 2, so on. So if I put K is equal to n minus 1, so what will be Z? So Z will be nth root of R into cos of phi by n. So in place of K I have to substitute n minus 1. So 2 n minus 1 pi by n. So it will be 2n pi by n minus 2 pi by n. So n gets cancelled, so it is just 2 pi. So pi by n plus 2 pi is once again pi by n only, because if you add 2 pi, one whole angle 360 degree, you will get the same point once again. So phi by n plus 2 pi is phi by n, so just minus 2 pi by n remains, plus I into sine of same thing, phi by n minus 2 pi by n. Now next put K is equal to n. So if I put K is equal to n, so Z is equal to nth root of R into cos of. So in place of K, if I put n gets cancelled, phi n plus 2 pi. Phi by n plus 2 pi is once again phi by n plus I into sine phi by n. So this is corresponding to K is equal to n. And you can observe, so this is once again the value corresponding to K is equal to 0. So it is a repetition. Now if I put K is equal to n plus 1, then what I'll get? Z is equal to nth root of R into, so in place of K I have to put n plus 1. So 2k pi by n is there. It will be 2 into n plus 1 pi by n. So it will be 2 pi plus 2 pi by n. So phi by n plus 2 pi is phi by n plus 2 pi by n will be extra. Sorry, this is cos of phi by n plus 2 pi by n plus I into phi by n plus 2 pi by n. And you can observe it is again a repeated value. So if you continue like this, so the values for Z repeats for every set of n values. So starting from 0 up to n minus 1. So you got distinct values. Then if you start from n up to once again n values. So here 0, 1 up to n minus 1 means n values. So for a set of n consecutive values, you will get distinct values for Z. But the next consecutive n set of n consecutive values, you will get the same values. And it is true for negative values also. You can check it with negative values minus 1, minus 2, so on. So up to minus n, you will get the same set of these values. So no need to vary K over all integers. If you vary K over all integers, you will get the repeated values for Z. So for every set of n consecutive values, so you will get distinct values. After that, for the next n consecutive values, you will have the same values. So there are repeated values for z. So just we shall neglect those. Just we shall consider distinct values of z, right? So those are. So what are those? So you can consider to get the distinct values of z. So it is enough to consider any set of consecutive n values for k. That means, so on the number line you can mark like this. So 0, 1, 2, so on n minus 1. So this is one set of consecutive n values for k. So the next n, n plus 1, so on. I need n values. So it will be 2n minus 1. So this is the second set of consecutive n values for k. So which will give you same values for z. So similarly, in the negative side, minus 1, minus 2, minus n. So this is another set of consecutive n values for k, which will give you same z values. So there are some set of n values repeatedly, interval. So it is just like cycle. It is just like cycle. So for this set, you will get distinct values of z. For this cycle, you will get the same distinct values of z like this. So no need to consider all the values of z because that set contains repetitions for the values of z. So it is enough to consider the values of z for any consecutive n values for k. So no need to start from 0. If you start from 1, you have to end up to n. Then n plus 1 will be again a repetition for 1. So like this. So consider any consecutive n values for k on the integer line. Then you will get the distinct values of z. And now for our convenience, we shall take this n consecutive values for k, that is 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. So for these consecutive values for k, z will give you distinct value. But the distinct values for z, or the distinct values of z are given by z equals nth root of r into cos phi by n plus 2k pi by n plus I into sin phi by n plus 2k pi by n, where it is enough to vary k over any consecutive n values on the integer line, and I'll take those n values to be 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. So for these n values, so I'll get distinct values of z whose nth power is the given number. So thus you can observe that for any given non-zero complex number a, we got n values, n distinct values of z whose nth power is a, and those n values are called nth roots of a. So thus for any non-zero complex number, there exists n distinct nth roots of a, and these values have same modulus, right? So as k varies over these values, the modulus value remains unchanged. So these values have same modulus, and their argument values are equally spaced. That means, so for these k values, if I consider the argument values for all z, so for k is equal to 0, so what is the argument value? It is phi by n. This is for k is equal to 0. For k is equal to 1, it is phi by n plus 2 pi by n. For k is equal to 2, it is phi by n plus 4 pi by n. So for k is equal to 3, it is phi by n plus 6 pi by n. So like this. So the argument values of these complex numbers are equally spaced. That means, so this is the first argument value. So to get the second value, you have to add 2 pi by n. Similarly, from the second to get the third, you have to add 2 pi by n. 2 pi by 1. So that means difference between any two consecutive argument values is 2 pi by n. So that means they are spaced at a equal distance. Distance between any two consecutive argument values is 2 pi by n. So that means that argument values are equally spaced, and moreover distance between any two consecutive argument values is 2 pi by n. So this is about nth roots of a complex number. So just we shall conclude it. So given any non-zero complex number a, because if a is equal to 0, then z is equal to 0 is the only nth root of it. So if a is a non-zero complex number, then these are the nth roots of that number, as k varies over integers. But that set of now values for z contains repeated values, so we'll consider only distinct values. And for any non-zero complex number a, the n distinct nth roots of a is z is equal to nth root of r into cos phi by n plus 2k pi by n plus I into sin pi by n plus 2k pi by n, as k varies over these values. So these are the n distinct nth roots of a given non-zero complex number a. Now we shall have some particular case here. In particular, if a is equal to 1, take a to be equal to 1, then a can be written as 1 plus I into 0, or in the polar form of 1 is, so where actually the complex number 1 lies. So the complex number 1 can be identified with the ordered pair 1, 0. So 1, 0 lies here. So this is the point 1, 0, and this is the complex number 1. And the distance from origin to that point is 1, and the angle made by the line with respect to the positive real axis is 0, because this line exactly lies on the positive real axis. So the argument value is 0. So I can write it as cos 0 plus I sin 0. So this is the polar form of the complex number 1. So modulus is 1 and argument is 0. So that is, if I compare this with respect to the previous part, we took modulus of a as r, which is 1 now, and argument of a was taken as 5, which is 0 now. Now corresponding to this a value, the n distinct nth roots of a are, but then the n distinct nth roots of a is equal to 1 r, so just you have to take r is equal to 1 and phi is equal to 0. But then the n distinct nth roots of a are z is equal to So r is equal to 1, nth root of 1 is 1. So cos phi is 0. So 2k pi by n plus I into sine 2k pi by n, where k runs for the values 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. So these are the n distinct nth roots of 1, and 1 is called unity. So thus these are the n distinct nth roots of unity. So these are the nth roots of unity. Nth roots of unity. Further, we can simplify it like this. Further, so actually we have z in the form cos 2k pi by n plus I into sine 2k pi by n, right? K runs for the values 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. Now, I'll rewrite this as cos k into 2 pi by n into plus I into sine k into 2 pi by n for k values 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. Or I'm using, it is of the form cos k theta plus I sin k theta. So by De Moivre's formula it is cos theta plus I sin theta whole power k for the k values 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. So that is z equals, so we'll take this value as this symbol, it is called omega. So it is z equals omega power k, as k runs for the values 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. Where what is omega? Cos 2 pi by n plus I sin 2 pi by n. So thus the nth roots of unity are, so just vary k. So k is 0 means omega power 0 is 1. So 1 omega square up to omega power n minus 1, where omega is this one, cos 2 pi by n plus I sin 2 pi by n. And as 1 omega square omega power n minus 1 are nth roots of unity, that means, so their nth power should give you the value 1. So this shows that, so the omega has to be non-zero. So if omega is 0, so all these values will be 0. All the powers of omega will be 0, and it will be a contradiction to the fact that they are nth roots of unity. So as they are nth roots of unity, their nth power has to be equal to 1. So if omega is 0, then omega square, omega power n minus 1, all will be 0. So their nth power will not be equal to 1, which will be a contradiction. So by the fact that they are nth roots of unity, omega has to be non-zero. And by this session gets completed. In this session, so we started with nth roots of a complex number. So for any complex number, for any non-zero complex number, there are n distinct nth roots. Whose modulus are same. All those values will have same modulus, and their arguments are placed equally. And in particular, if I take the complex number a to be equal to 1, then I'll get the nth roots of 1, which are called the nth roots of unity, and which are denoted by 1 omega, omega square, omega power n minus 1, where omega is this, and which is non-zero, I hope you all understood the content of this session. Thank you.